Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. Thank you for joining me wherever you are joining me. Rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. The NBA finals are here. Last night, game one, the Celtics won. My apologies to Celtics and to the Celtics fans. Didn't know Al Horford was going to hit 6 threes. I mean, let's call it what it is. I didn't know Al Horford was going to hit 6 threes. I'll tell you what I did know. I knew that the Warriors would come out fast. I knew that the Celtics would respond in kind in the second quarter. I knew that the Warriors would go on their typical third quarter run where they normally put the game out of reach. What I was not expecting to happen was for the Golden State Warriors to all of a sudden forget how to play basketball in the fourth quarter. A team that is a really good defensive team all of a sudden decided that they no longer wanted to play defense. It was really weird to me. Didn't quite understand I didn't quite understand how that happened. It seemed as if when you get those leads like that, the next move is to then put it out of reach with your defense. That's normally what has been the MO for the Warriors since they became the Warriors, right? Since they became the Warriors, they've had the opportunity to go on these massive athletic runs where they go up by 10 and 12 points. They put it out of reach, and then from there, like, there's nothing else. Like, it's over. And now teams are trying to figure out how to deal with that offensive onslaught. See, I mean, it's a beautiful thing, right? Because when you can hit a team in basketball, when you can hit a team and you get on an offensive run, but then you can clamp down defensively, now they feel like there's nowhere for them to escape. There's nowhere for them to be. Everywhere seems like like an L. Well, we can't do this on offense because they're locking us up. We can't do this on defense because they're just making shots. And so that third quarter ends up being really demoralizing for most defenses. But here is where the credit goes to the Celtics, because before, in the fourth quarter versus teams like the Heat, even to a certain extent the Milwaukee Bucks and the Nets, the fourth quarter was where they kind of let people back in it, where they didn't finish well. They tried to give away several games in that series versus the Heat. So for them to come out and be able to perform in the manner that they performed, it bodes well for them. Now, I'm still picking the Warriors because A, I'm a Lakers fan. B, I just don't know if you're going to be able to do that another 3 out of 6 games. Like, is Al Horford going to be that Al Horford in every game? It's hard for me to say. So I think that's a difficult part. That's the difficult part of this, right? But I want to talk about something that I think is really interesting. Because I don't think you can blow a lead like that. I know, and shout out to Whit LeJour, and to all the people who used to join us for the Zebra Stripes podcast. Hopefully we get that back on running here soon. But Whit always says, the run is the thing in the NBA. A lead is not safe in the NBA just because of how much time, because of the pace of play, because of the three-point shot. No lead is safe. But I don't believe you can blow a lead like that. And so that says a lot to me about the Warriors. If they lose this series, I'm going to look back at game one as a pivotal moment where they could have stepped on the throat of the Celtics and let them know, hey, listen, it's just not going to be for you. You're not winning this one. Sorry. It's also interesting to me, right? If the Celtics are able to get this done, does this go down as the most impressive playoff run in the history of basketball? And I'm not just talking like hyperbolic because I'm a prisoner of the moment, but think about it. They had to take on the Nets, who had superstar Kevin Durant and superstar Kyrie Irving. That was a team that everybody thought had a chance to gel late, get hot, make a run. That was a team preseason, although with Harden, that everybody thought had a chance to win the title. That's who they took out in the first round. In the second round, they got the defending champions. And the person that many people believe is the best player in basketball in Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's who they went through in round two. In round three, they get the number one seed in the East. So now they've taken out the presumptive number one with two of the top 10 players in the NBA. They take out the reigning champion with the best player in the NBA, according to many. Then they take out the number one seed in the East, only to then run into the juggernaut that is the Golden State Warriors, who have retooled and now have a collection, a great blending of older, but not out of their prime stars and younger, emerging players. And then guys who just know their role. Like, if the Boston Celtics are able to get this done, if they're able to finish off what they've started, if they're able to win that trophy, this has to go down as one of the greatest feats in the NBA, the best playoff run in the history of NBA basketball. I keep trying to think of another comparison. Like, the We Believe team was great, but they didn't win it all, right? Like, some of the teams who've made runs through the playoffs were great, but they didn't win it all. That Heat team in the bubble, that was great, but they didn't win it all. Like, LeBron James dragging that Cleveland Cavaliers, that first Cleveland Cavaliers team, to the finals, only to run into the Spurs at the height. Like, I can't think of another team that has had such an epic run. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get it done, especially because I don't see how you can rely on 6 3-pointers for Al Horford. But I also don't think you can rely on Jason Tatum being as bad as he was in game one. So if Jason Tatum and Al Horford just switch, is that enough to then get the job done? Is that enough to be able to turn one win into 4 wins? That's the question. And I don't have the answer. I like to think no, because I think that the more complete team, the better the team that has the variable that you can't account for is on the other side. But that variable went ham and they still lost. But can you account for them to have a fourth quarter drought like they just had? Can you rely on that more than just this game? Can you say for certain you can hold them to a drought in the fourth quarter like that in every game? Because no one's really been able to do it. So that's going to be the part, right? That's going to be the thing that tells us yay or nay if we can get this thing done. As a Boston Celtics fan. Now, as a Warrior fan, you're going, man, we let one go. We let one go. There's no way we should be 0-1 right now. It should be 1-0 with us looking to hold serve in game 2. It's interesting, right? Have we ever seen something like this, like a run like this? I think it's phenomenal to think about. I also think it's interesting all of the dealings that we have going on right now in sports. I heard a comment by Diana Rossini that essentially said that guys like Lamar Jackson are not getting paid. Like, he wants to be paid, but guys like him are not getting paid. And that the perception of him is that he can't do it from the pocket. The normal like racist, like black quarterback, athletic quarterback bias that you see all the time. And just for the record, I don't think Diana Rossini is racist at all. But it is a narrative that is perpetuated, that is a stereotype of a lot of black quarterbacks, especially black quarterbacks who are black. Y'all know what I mean. Like who embrace a culture that is more skewed black. So I'm thinking about it, and she's like, well, you know, all of the highlights you see are of Lamar running, and that's the problem. And I'm so ESPN doesn't have any highlights of Lamar Jackson throwing touchdowns from the pocket. So you're mad, or you're essentially saying that you're basing your analysis, your opinion off of highlights. And I just have to say, Diana Rossini, she needs to stay in her lane on this one. Like, Diana Rossini is really good at reporting news. She's a really good sports reporter, but not every sports reporter should be a sports analyst. And that's where these jobs have blurred together, and people are bad at it. There are some people who are really good at writing. They're really good writers, right? They're really good sports writers, but they're not really good columnists. There's some guys who are really good columnists, but if you ask them to talk about it and analyze it, that's not what they do. Some of us think that we do everything pretty well, but there are probably things that we don't do well. When I talk to editors about writing, they talk about things that I can be better at. I have to be understanding of that. When it's about breakdowns, when it's about analysis, no one really questions me. Why? Because they know I know what I'm talking about. That is the luxury that I've been afforded from years upon years of analysis, and so many other people have. Diana Rossini has been reporting news, sports news, for years. She's really good at that job. When you ask her to analyze, even when you ask her to give her take, her opinion, it's nothing against her. That's just not her wheelhouse. That's not where she does well. Heck, Dan Orlovsky is a former NFL quarterback. Chris Sims is a former NFL quarterback. Both of them have horrible takes on NFL quarterbacks. And their takes are based off of their experience as white quarterbacks who play the game a certain way. So when they see black guys who don't play the game the way that they play it, the only thing they can think of is you need to play it more like we played it, or more like the people who were above us played it. Just because they weren't good enough. They weren't good enough doing it that way. They think that everyone has to do it that way better in order to be successful. That's not the case. I don't know why people hate Lamar so much. I really don't. The man has done nothing to anyone. He's only succeeded. It's baffling to me, but still a lot of hate. And we'll continue to think about it. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Talk Spicy. I'm Coach Gene Clemens. We do this thing a few times. We rate the show, comment, agree, disagree, but whatever you do, keep it spicy. 5-star ratings are appreciated. And if you're joining me on the YouTube channel, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe. Till next time, peace.